And now you have good reasons to believe that the Trump administration is doing cover-ups. I know for the last several videos it has seemed like I've been some kind of Trump defender. I get it. I tend to try to approach things from a standpoint of reason and skepticism for the most part, just to, because I don't like this jumping on the bandwagon thing that we all tend to do. But now, sorry, I forgot to hit play on the thing. Now we have a letter from, admittedly, a Democratic senator, which, is opposed to the Republican president. I don't know that we necessarily need to worry about that too much, but they're claiming that they have information from the FBI that said that Trump directed a bunch of people to go in and, flag information that might have his name in the Epstein files. Clearly meddling. Now, obviously, I tend to go with skepticism first until we have hard evidence later. So, obviously, the Democrats have a reason to embarrass Trump, so there's a little bit of skepticism you have to have there. The FBI certainly has a reason to not like Trump because they're part of the deep state and they don't want, they have something against Trump deep down in the cockles of their heart. So until this stuff is super confirmed, obviously we can't really do anything about it. But even me and my skeptical nature, now I'm starting to think Trump has some issues going on here. Now we have solid, direct finger pointing that, if confirmed, proves beyond any reasonable doubt that Trump has some problems happening now. So again, I would never advocate for people starting to jump off the ledge and into the water without first making sure that the water's deep enough that it's going to catch you. Okay, so this is a turning point here in my narration on what's happening right now. Up until this point, we had no serious reason to believe that Trump might have some kind of problem with the Epstein files. Now, the fact that he's sticking his fingers into the process means that either he is guilty of something, and there's something in the files that we're actually that could actually incriminate him, which at this point is becoming much, much, much more likely because he's making himself look extremely guilty by doing what he's doing. And number two, I lost track of what I was going to say. The point is that, it's one thing to be skeptical, and it's one thing to try to maintain a stance of reason. It's another thing to be completely in denial. And now we're hearing things that make it unreasonable to start asking serious questions about what's going on. Now it's not just, oh, well, some people weren't in office beforehand, and now maybe this and maybe that. Because up until Trump started getting super, super defensive, and up until now we're hearing that maybe he was directing the FBI and, government organizations to try to look through the documentation to look for instances where his name shows up. I mean, that's pretty guilty behavior. That's pretty guilty behavior. So, I don't know, man. Now we're in a new phase of all of this where even reasonable-minded people have to start saying, you're starting to look pretty guilty, dude. And, I'm not going to retract anything I said in previous videos. Up until this point right now, everything that was being said was conjecture, and I don't like going off of conjecture. I like going off of, this is the information we have, we're going to use the evidence that we have, and this is what we're doing. And now, there still needs to be confirmation that the FBI did receive actual instructions from the Trump administration to do this. We need confirmation on that before I can fully change my mind and start seeing cover-up here. But now I'm leaning way more towards cover-up now because of this recent information that has been released. So I'm still reserving judgment, but I'm way closer to cover-up than I was last week. Way closer to cover-up than I was last week. Because you can't ignore things just because, you can't ignore things. You have to look at the evidence and make decisions based off of that. And now it's really actually starting to look like conspiracy and not just incompetence. And hey, you got to go where the evidence leads. So anyways, thanks for watching. Be sure to click that like button, help us reach our first, and say the subscribe button to help us reach our first 1,000 subscribers. I'll continue following all of this and providing my own, hopefully reserved and non-emotional and non-sensationalist updates, because I want to try to provide everybody with a perspective that isn't just, jumping on the hype train. I want to try to at least give everybody a clear-eyed perspective of what's going on here. And, I'm sorry if you have a senator who could have some serious problems come if he's lying and putting the stuff out there in a way that can easily be disproved, then, you know, I'm starting to have some serious questions for Mr. Trump. You know, and then there's the whole drawing thing that was uncovered. I don't know how real that is. Maybe not. We'll see. There needs to be some more confirmation, but it's starting to look pretty bad. Like, I know everybody was saying, oh, it was looking bad before. No, for someone who is trying to reserve judgment and wait for evidence, now it's starting to look pretty bad. So, yeah. Anyways, again, thanks for watching. Like button, subscribe to help us reach 1,000 subscribers, and I will update you next time.